morning, Andrew.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
Pretty good.
You excited to get this bread?
Get this bread, get this cheddar?
This gluten substitute soy mixture?
Hell yeah.
Good morning, Nicholas.
What's up? It's a sturdy trailer.
Imagine that thing is...
You put a trophy truck on this thing, huh?
What are we doing today?
We're gonna go do some more riding, Superstition. Haven't been out here in a while.
Placer City.
Placer City. Whatever the locals call it, either one. But fun times, some big whoops out here. Had some fun riding last night and excited to be back here. Just gonna ride for a few more hours before I head back to Arizona.
Give me the hand thing. Give me the hand over the lens.
Uh-oh. What's happening, everybody? Nick and Andrew, Chupacabra Offroad, back in the desert. Today, where are we at, Andrew?
Superstition. This is my backyard. This is where I grew up riding. One of the best places to ride and race. I've never had any bad experiences here.
So we're back. We're really excited. This is the CHUPTURBOTWINS Part 2. And if you guys watched Part 1, you probably can tell by looking at the vehicles we've come a long way. We got a lot done, and we miraculously got these things all put together and ready for Camp Razor. Had a great weekend out there and no issues. Awesome getting the cars all dialed and getting to break them in even more. And just wanted to take some time to kind of go through. Last time you guys saw the vehicles, if you watched Part 1, Andrew's car was maybe 20% done. I'd come all the way from Arizona, went all the way to Temecula to drop our shocks off and pick up our cages. They just got done with powder coat. Then we got back, we shot that, and then we scrambled to get everything done, including Andrew going all the way to Arizona to get his car wrapped by a wolf, because if you haven't noticed, we're picky. We got some pretty cars. We know what we like, and to speak on that, like we mentioned in Part 1, we have similar taste. We've both had several Razors in our past. We talked about a lot of companies that we really wanted and spent our own money on, reached out to these companies and asked them if they would help us with better deals or incentives. But ultimately, we went with a lot of the products that we wanted, deal or no deal. So we're going to talk about these cars all done. They are the twins, obviously, a lot of the same parts, but there are some differences. So Andrew, we got the cars together. Let's start off with the big differences of two Madigan cages, but a lot of little differences between them. So why don't you walk us through yours versus mine?
A lot of little differences. As you can see on mine, I didn't go with the front windshield like Nick did. I used a single front intrusion bar. I used that. I've never ran one, wanted to try it out, see how the views were. Makes it a little bit more rigid, especially in case of a rollover. Also, if you follow me over here, we ran with Madigan's A2 pillar. Pretty much it gives it that pre-runner look to it. Again, never ran it before. I really like the look of it. Gives it more of that pre-runner look. Coming around also.
And real quick, mine doesn't have the A2 pillar. And then Andrew, seeing over the visor, can you see over it? Does it hit your vision at all?
It's a little bit different. It does hinder the vision a little bit, but compared to Nick's windshield, I guarantee you it's a lot more visible, especially in the dunes. In the hard pack straight whoops, you're not going to have a lot of non-vision in front of you compared to all the dunes. The dunes is a little bit different. You're right, the riding style. You're gumming into bowls that you gotta be able to see over, and you kind of going into bowls blind. Kind of scary, but with these new cars, with the power they produce, you're never gonna have a problem with that.
Yeah, no, this is my first experience out at Camp Razor with the windshield. I really liked it. Definitely, like Andrew said, the visibility was limited. I was peeking up. I mean, I'm 6'3". I'm looking over to make sure we're dropping in. There's nothing too steep, which is especially first real trip of the season when the dunes are kind of fresh and after
soft.
Those big windstorms. But liking it so far. I bet I'm going to love it when it gets cold. So moving on to other nuances of the cage, we both have roof racks.
So basically, we both have pretty much the same cage, same design. We have the doors from Madigan, as you can see. Also, I finished the doors up into the actual cage. Nick kept them down low with the windshield. Roof racks are identical, minus mine. I put the roto packs. I mounted two 2-gallon roto packs on the top. Nick has in his car, he can pull the rear seats and have 3 2-gallon containers in there, Rotopacks, so he'll have 6 gallons of fuel, but
Which I've
one
used.
seat.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Which I've used. It's a Tusk. You take the seat base off, it removes 1 seat. I've got 6 gallons of fuel storage. Work great. The Rotopacks sit flat, but I really like Andrew's here. You're not going to need fuel that often, maybe a couple trips a year. It's lightweight when it's up high, and when he needs it, it's safe and it's out of the way and it's secure. One thing we don't have to put on the roof rack is our spare tires.
Spare tires is great. Madigan makes a really great product with their spare tire carrier. Puts the weight a little bit more farther over the back. Makes it easy to open up on gas struts, ready to go. Lets you get in there, get your tools, get your drinks. Makes it really nice, very sturdy. Fits up to a 35-inch tire.
And I've had a similar version. I've had one with CageWorks. I loved it. I love having the spare tire back there, not up high. And I love having gas struts because any ride you're gonna do, we're always stopping to grab a drink out of the cooler or a tool. My first RZR, I had one of those Polaris swing-aways. It rattled. It was annoying. Highly recommend this style setup. That's it.
Also on my car, I ran a slip-on Trinity exhaust from Trinity Racing. As you can tell, my radius rods are different and my rear radius rod plate. Went with the Lone Star stuff. I've ran Lone Star on my previous cars. I went with their boxed radius rod rear plate just for more strength, and it actually gives it a true dual shear mounting point to that. Moving along, rear wings. You'll see a lot of differences between the rear wings with Nick's car and my car. I went with 4 S2 Pros. S2 Pros here. As you can see, I went with the blue and an amber. They're really bright. Madigan's little signature was I put a rear brake light in it. But you're pretty much going to be as bright as you can get out in the back. A lot of people riding in Glamis this past weekend were telling me to turn it off because it was too bright. I don't know if it's a good thing, but I know in the dust, you want to be able to see somebody coming up in the dust.
Yeah, I mean, at Glamis, it was crazy how bright these S2s are, and they're amazing. I followed a guy like on the Arizona Peace Trail with 6-8 guys, ton of hanging dust with no breeze. I've never seen anything brighter for rear. So I went with Baja Design's light bar with the blinkers. I'm in Arizona. I wanted to have blinkers. I've also got a work light and I've got my brake lights. So really like my setup. I don't think my blinkers, my ambers are near as bright as Andrew's, but bright enough to be seen on big dusty group rides and set up for Arizona living. So now we're here to the back of my car. You can see got the rear same spare tire carrier from Madigan, and Madigan was nice enough to install the Baja Designs rear light bar for me. Kind of just cut it all out. It looks really clean. And like I said, I love having the blinkers for Arizona. I went with two 5150 lighted whips. Andrew's got a single, and we both have our antenna because we're running pretty much an identical PCI Bluetooth radio. So speaking of lights, let's move around to the front of the cars and we'll show you the differences, which are a lot bigger on both of our. So moving on to the front of Andrew's car, I don't think there's going to be many people out in the desert that are going to be brighter than this car. Not the looks, but the lights are abundant. So Andrew, lighting everywhere, talk us through your setup.
So pretty much, as you can see on both cars, we went with the OEM replacement with Baja Designs. We think by far Baja Designs is probably one of the best lights out on the market that you can buy. Nick has ran different brands from Polaris brand to the actual Rigid brand. He's going to be able to check these out tonight while we do a little bit of night riding. But we use the Pro Kit. It comes with 4 Squadron Pros, 4,900 lumens a piece. So that gives you almost 20,000 lumens up in the front. That's just OEM headlight replacement.
Goes right into the stock wiring. You don't have to any other mounting mechanism. Clean and simple install.
So going down to the front bumper, Nick opted not to run a front bumper. I ran with 3 Baja XL 80s, which are the Pro model. The Pros are 4,900 lumens as well. So I got another 15,000 lumens on the bottom here. I run with a single dust cover in the front just so people can see me coming in the dust, and it really cuts through the dust when you're high speeds. Going up to the top, I decided to mount my 30-inch Racer Edition light bar up on the roof rack compared to Nick's on his actual cage. We wanted to do some different testing, different light setups and see what we like better. You know, give you guys more of a real review on them and why we mounted them here, what's better, what works the best, especially for different night riding. If you're riding in the dust, or if you lead rides and you need something to be shooting out a mile away, you have it. So that's why I went with the Racer 30-inch light bar up on the roof rack.
So Andrew, a lot of people, when they do upgrade the lights, first thing they'll probably do is a light bar up top. If you had to pick up top or on the bumper, what would you choose?
A lot of people like to run light bars. The only time I like to run a light bar is if I'm out front, I'm leading, and I need to see down the trail with great distance. But for pretty much running, if I'm running in the pack, if I'm middle pack, whatever, I'm going to be sticking to the lower bumper lights. The lower they are, you get a vast array of light out there, especially with the different lenses. So as you can see, the lenses are different. So you have 2 spot combos. So it has a flood and a spot in it, and then the center one's just a full spot. Pretty much the spot makes the distance light out farther. As you can tell, as in the pros in the OEM, it comes with the spot and then spot flood combo.
So moving on to the front of my car, a little bit less light, and I got the same, like I said, headlight kit. Love how easy the install was. I like how Baja D includes a 20 amp fuse. I've ran these with Rigid and with MB Corp Polaris brand and blown a fuse on both of them. So nice extra connectors, top quality with everything, and so far really, really good. I think I could probably even do a night ride with just these. We rode in a pack all weekend, so if you guys are doing a lot, you know, and you're in a pack, it helps with everyone's light. I ran sweep a lot as well, so running sweep, I love having the windshield, and then I love having the dual control 40-inch. I opted to mount mine not onto the roof rack, but tabbed onto the cage. So I was playing with these settings a lot. I can't believe how bright it is in just the amber position. My buddy had one of these light bars I got to ride in his car a couple of years ago, and I absolutely loved how it performed. And you know, I want to be seen during the day, so I'm pretty much running the ambers front and back all day. And I think on group rides that's going to work really well. But of course I got a lot of extra light when I need it. I like the light bar up top for the peripheral when I'm duning. I'm known for leading dune rides and driving around in circles, even with my GPS. So when I'm trying to figure out where I'm going, you know, this helps me. But I do know a lot of guys prefer down low, like a typical car or truck has fog lights, keeps out of the dust better. But so far really impressed with how the amber cut through, and we're gonna go check them out tonight. So that's pretty much our lighting setups. Of course, real quick, can't not talk about our Chupacabra mirrors. We have our new colors, which match the cars beautifully. Got our door bags and center mirror, of course. And speaking of which, you know, can't see as well with the rear spare tire, but let's talk about the inside of the car. Since we're here, let's look at mine.
Yeah, definitely.
Is this like an MTV crib?
Pretty much.
So basically, we did pretty much, here comes the similarities. We both ran the Switch Pros 8-switch setup. We ran both the same PCI Kenwood radio with their 4-link Pro Elite with Bluetooth and DSP. We ran the same seats, the PRP GTS or PRP GT3s. Nick went with a little bit different material than I did. I did a full vinyl seat. Nick went with what is called their new material is Excel, which is really cool. I was looking at it when I was designing my seats, and I was really wanted to do it, but I didn't know how clean it was going to be when it came down to, after being in a dusty ride, how clean you could get these seats without much work.
Seat heaters for the wife too on both of the vehicles, so excited about that. And with that in the windshield, I think it's going to be great for cold rides, family rides. Like I said, I'm building this as my family wagon, and I think it's going to be very comfortable in any situation.
Yeah, same thing. We both went with the Race Air from PCI with the Race Air controller here, so we didn't have to take up a switch on our Switch Pros. You just a dial knob turns it on and off, and it's variable speed, which is really nice. Again, Baja Designs dome lights on this one. I ran dome lights on my car, and I also ran some rock lights from Baja Designs as well. And we can't forget our deluxe rear view mirror from Chupacabra.
Yeah, you can see how Madigan tabbed it pretty long. We're probably going to cut it and bring it up a little bit just because I'm tall and I want the mirror a little bit higher. But no big deal. Really liking the ride command. I used to have a Razor that had it. I really liked it in the dunes. Once I get all my points marked down and triangulated, I have a good idea of like how to get around everywhere, even if I was leading a ride at night. Love how it keeps all of the breadcrumb trail. So one of our buddies leads a really nice, good ride. I'll save it and keep it and use it for the future, just as I get reoriented if I haven't been to the dunes for several months. So liking it. It's nice to have it. It's a nice clean dash. We still have a little bit of storage here with our glove box and the new Razor upper storage spot right here. Simple. Got to push the talk button for the wife. I was really impressed how clear the Kenwood unit was.
Yeah.
Super clear and better than my older version. And
Just a lot of chatter at Camp Razor with everybody on it.
yeah, we need to get our own Chupacabra channel here coming soon. And real quick too, Andrew and I both elected for these sewn in. Are these the 4.3s?
These are the 4.3s. The 5.3s would be with your crotch strap. The 4.3s don't come with the crotch strap. 3-inch belt, pads sewn in at the bottom, so you're not fumbling with all the 4 different belts that you need to attach. Makes it really easy getting in and out of these cars. Still comes with the race the race latch, which makes it cake to get in and out of these seats and seat belts.
Yeah, like when new people are getting in the car, they always fumble. They don't know how to do it, and the fact that these are sewn together, like, it sounds minuscule, but I love it.
You should have seen our camera guy getting in and out of them at Camp Razor. It's pretty
Yeah, our newbie camera guy. So final similarity, final upgrades pretty much are wheels and tires and suspension. So both went with Tensor 33 DSs. You would know that if you saw the part 1. Got some cool custom painted Method 401R wheels.
half-baked powder coating.
Yeah, thanks Half Bake and El Centro. Turned out awesome.
Ryan killed it.
I love how both of them turned out. And I'm most excited about trying the suspension. It worked really good in Glamis. I was blown away.
Let's just say, blowing by Funco's at 65 down Sound Highway was the best thing ever.
Yeah, it was crazy how much rougher it got on Sand Highway after a couple days.
Especially
of being
Friday, Saturday, rolling down there, going to the hill. These things floated over everything.
Love the dynamic suspension. Still hit the switch a bunch of times. Wayne from Alltech has us running about 17 inches of ride height in the front, a little bit less in the rear. And man, I'm really excited to try the tires and the suspension on the hardpack. So we're gonna head out and go ride, get some cool footage, and follow up with our thoughts on that.
Any other words, Andrew? Any final thoughts?
No final
Buy
thoughts.
these mirrors.
Buy these mirrors
Buy
right now.
these damn mirrors.
Go to
Buy these
Amazon.
mirrors so we can afford to keep these cars.
For sale, 60,000.
All right, so end of day 2 on the hardpack out here, Placer City Superstition. It was really nice to spend some time in these cars on the hardpack after a great weekend in Glamis. And man, just overall, what do you think? How do you feel about the car and out here?
Overall, driving in the hardpack, you know, the dynamic suspension, I keep going back to that. It's a game changer for sure in the side-by-side industry right now.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. We were cruising along, hitting some loops about 40 to 55 miles an hour. I was in the sport mode. Andrew said click it down into comfort, which I thought was going to be a little bit mushy and blow through the stroke. It actually felt a lot more comfortable.
A lot more stable. The suspension was working a lot better. It wasn't bucking as hard. It wasn't as harsh. Going to the tires, we're running the 33-inch Tensors with the Method wheels. Man, these tires hook up great in the hard pack. 16 pounds in them right now. They feel stable. They're not rolling over. You still can slide the car around even in four-wheel drive. These tires, even in the sand, we're here at Sand Dam right now, hanging out, and we had no problems, have no worries about burning a belt, breaking a belt, pushing these heavy cars up Sand Dam, and even in glamis.
Yeah, I feel like I'd probably bump my air pressure down, maybe try between 11 and 13. I'm really surprised for how the tread pattern, not that open and blocky, that they pulled pretty good last night when we were getting some nighttime footage and a really soft sand wash. Coming up Sand Dam, I mean, like I mentioned in the glamis ride, the Turbo S is definitely heavier than my 2018 Turbo. You feel it, you know, it's clutched properly, but the car doesn't feel peppy. And this car, you know, with all of our accessories loaded down, it's just a nice peace of mind that we went with these tires because they're taller, they're lighter than stock. And this reminds me kind of riding in Sand Hollow. You're on the hard pack, you're gonna hit some dunes. Just that you don't have to think about or worry less about potentially burning a belt if you're pushing these cars hard.
Definitely. So coming out of a 2-seat 17 turbo, going to a 4-seat is a world of difference. That wheelbase at 117 inches is by far the best all-around desert car I have driven or ridden in. By far, dynamic suspension is where it's at.
Yeah, so Wayne at Alltech, great job. Really liking the car out here as well. Excited to go do some testing with him and further tune him, see what we can do. I think maybe my rear ride height might be a little bit on the high side. It just felt that way in the sport mode, pounding the whoops. But where I'm going to take it back to Arizona, a little bit different terrain, not as smooth, some sharper rocks. Yep. I think the comfort mode is going to be amazing out there for pretty much anything under 30-35 miles an hour. And I just love clicking. It's different when you're going fast. It just gives it more of a rally car. It's stiffer. The car doesn't wallow around. So I think the dynamics is really good, particularly on a heavier 4-seater. When you're like us, you're going to be carrying fuel, other heavier items, tools, all that type of stuff for big, long rides. So you kind of get two cars in one. Yeah, so yeah, I think it is definitely the future of the side-by-side industry. And talking about weight, you know, there's a lot of people talking about the Kawasaki. It's heavy. But you know, there's compromises. With a heavier vehicle, it feels more stable when you're going fast in the whoops. So, you know, we're in the Southwest. I think that's more important, the durability, the ruggedness, and the stability when you're hauling, versus maybe some of you guys who are zipping through trees in different parts of the country, which I get the lightweight conversation, or you're for a works racer, right? You're that type of, you like that characteristic 2-seat vehicle.
Or you're a sand guy, and you want a light sand car that rips up the hills, you know? Sand queen for sure. But going back to the dynamic suspension from last night, you know, running, if you watch our Baja Design night video, we've done some runs down pole line. And if some of you guys know that right out here in Superstition, pole line is a pretty good whooped out road. And with this car here, I was hitting 72, 73 miles an hour at night with no problems, not feeling uncomfortable about the car doing its thing, you know. So again, Wayne at Alltech really killed it with these shocks.
Yeah, lighting is amazing. It's nice to feel we can go 70 miles an hour comfortably at night. I mean, a side-by-side, I mean, what more do you want than that? Yeah. I mean, it's really, when you're buying these nice higher-end lights, you're really buying peace of mind and, you know, just something that's going to keep you safe and give you as much vision as possible so you can have a more enjoyable experience.
Yes, definitely. Definitely all-around good pre-runner car that we built here. Two Turbo Twins, you know, they're very similar in style, but, you know, they work identical. We got the same shock setups, so we're pretty much gonna see these in Baja, Moab. You'll see them in Sand Hollow, possibly Oregon, possibly up in Idaho at the Idaho Dunes. You might see them all around. So look forward to more videos coming from us soon.
Yeah, hit us with a comment or a question, you know, YouTube, Facebook, send us an email. Any question of the products that we run, give you our honest feedback. If you're looking for a similar setup, if you're going Polaris. Either way, we try to be helpful and put out this content. Hope you guys liked the video, and stay tuned. We got a lot more coming your way. You ever ridden a dirt bike before?
No.